You say? Hi, we're back for another 25 minutes of your comments and criticism, more pictures and another written criticism, and today we're concentrating on the slapstick humour of the Chuckle Brothers, which you can see on Children's BBC each Thursday at 10 to 4. There's also a look at your views on Roland Rat, the Series 2, which is described in the Radio Times as a brill, ace and skill rodent extravaganza. Do you agree? We'll find out in a minute or two, but first of all, to the map. It's over here. Now, our two schools this week are actually quite close together, so I'm going to represent them with one dart, right? And they are here. And first of all, it's the Farnham Royal Church of England Combined School, where their average age is 10, and from Beaconsfield, they're the Beaconsfield Secondary School, where their average age is 14. Now, let's start with Roland Rat, a show that's gone through a number of changes in the past couple of years, and now he's into the Series 2. What do you think?
I think he's good. I like the way he always makes sure that they know he's boss and everything. I like him.
I like his jackets and he's smart.
It was alright when I was younger, but it's starting to get a bit ridiculous now. First series was the best.
Roland's always boasting that he's the best and he's got to do this and he's got to do that. And he's in charge of all the others and he's boss.
He thinks he's great. I'm better than him.
If he shut up saying he was a superstar all the time, he might get on with the programme a lot better.
Yeah. The point is they could make Roland Rat funny. They could do things to him, like sort of make him less pompous and supercilious and make him more one-to-one, you know, not like he's the king of the castle. I think they could, that's what is so stupid about it. They could make him better and they don't.
I think he's groovy.
You think he's what?
Groovy.
Why do you think he's groovy?
I like his clothes and I like it when he goes, yeah. I like it when he says jokes and nobody laughs and he pretends that Kevin's made them up instead.
I like the way they get a famous person into it as well, to mix in with the puppets. I think that's good. Like Roland Rat as Sherlock Holmes.
Because everyone calls him the defective instead of the detective.
Hey, where's the butler gone? And where's our tea?
Ah, look, the maid.
Blimey, that was quick. 2 cuppers for us, love, and 1 for old Marbles here. Got any chocky bickies? Obviously not.
She's fainted.
Yeah, well, can you blame her being so close to me, a living legend?
Fainted? It's worse than that.
Eh?
She's dead.
Dead?
Dead.
Dead?
Gentlemen, this is murder.
Murder?
Murder.
Murder? Oh, don't start all that again. Let the master assess the case. Yeah, well, I deduce from the angle of her fall and the expression on her face and fur that she's showing all the classic signs of poisoning by a little-known root crop grown in the subtropical foothills of the Andes by Brazilian Aborigines. Amazing!
Nonsense, Holmes. She's been shot by an arrow.
It's good how that they have females on it because it's usually just males. That's a bit boring.
I think they should have some more shots of the actual Ratmobile going out and about, because you only see it at the start, you don't see it anywhere else. I quite like that.
Yeah, I think the producer is trying to make it appeal to 2 different age groups, really, because they sort of put the pop groups on there for older people, and then Roland Rat appeals to the younger ones. So I think they want to cut Roland Rat out, really. I don't like him.
Yeah, I like all the pop groups on there.
Well, for the age that it's aimed at, they ought to have sort of more pop groups that everyone's going to like. So, like, you know, a few years back they had Wham that everyone liked. They ought to have Bros or something like that, because everyone's likes it then.
I like the one that keeps making weird noises.
Reggie.
Reggie, that's him.
They were right, they ought to have Reggie on a lot more, you know. He'd be a better presenter for it.
I like Peggy when they're doing the army. I like the way he skived off everything and he asked for everything in carton.
Got Phil. Private Ferret, you're incorrectly dressed.
You
talking to me, Jimmy?
I've told you before, you call me Sergeant, you horrible little thing, you. Get a kilt off.
What, now? In front of everyone?
No, in the billet, you fairy thing, you. Bird, to the left, in file. There! Ha! By the right, quick. Birds! Left, right.
No, you gotta go away!
I think they should go outside a lot more. You know, it's funny when they go outside.
I only like the video vault, the rat trap, and then at the start when the car comes in, it goes down.
The BBC are giving him too many series.
I think Rat Trap's best.
And I
I
think,
like that.
I think it's good for the younger viewers that watch. Because my niece and nephew watch it, they think it's good.
They should join in with Kermit the Frog and the Muppets and Gordon's Gopher and make their own programme.
Yeah, so people who like comedy things will watch that.
Having them all together in one programme, goodness me, including Gordon the Gopher, what a thought. Now then, let's have a look at these pictures. Getting close to the end of the series now, so if you haven't sent one in, you better get in quick. This is a good one. Children's BBC Through the Ages. It's terrific. Got Spot here, and then there's Thomas the Tank and Andy Pandy and Luby Lou, who was a pal of Andy Pandy's. And the Blue Peter ship is really clever here because it's blue on one side and like black and white on the other side to represent it going through the ages. That's a great one. Thanks for that. And then also, what's we got down here? I wish I could fly right up to the sky. It's Orville. There he is, hanging out of a window. And just across here, there's Robin Hood. Good one. Nicely drawn. That's crayon, that one. And then over onto the other board, what have we got? This is a great one. I love this. Very atmospheric and very stormy. By the lighthouse, it says. There's a lighthouse up here, the steps going down on the rocky shore, and the sea, and a really thundery sky with the moon. And just here, I think there's a little seal. Either that or the lighthouse keeper's fallen in. And then underneath, Andy Crane upstairs in the broom cupboards. There's koalas here, and it's carrying a hairspray, extra hold. And, yes, brick hard hair. And by the side of that, another one that actually could go side by side with our lighthouse one, because another atmospheric picture of the sun just coming up over the sea here. It is all nicely drawn and painted. Beautiful palm trees. Lots of detail in that. Thank you very much indeed. And the winner, are you ready? Well, no. It's Tell. Terry Wogan. Great picture. And it's come from Marie McCrum, age 15, from Dipton, Stanley, in County Durham. There is, of course, a voucher in the post to you. Now then, let's run through some of your letters that have been sent in this week as we make our way over to the other side of the studio. Right, cameras all over the place. And the first comes from Anne Thomas, age 13, from Scunthorpe in South Humberside. I think this country has gone American mad. I am disgusted now when I switch on the television and see programs like MASH, Dallas, and American cartoons sprawled all over the screen. These programs portray a lot of violence and horrible American words. Things like guy have crept in over the last few months. Even TV presenters use this ghastly word. Schedule, or schedule, is another of the words that's often pronounced the American way. What's wrong with using our own British pronunciation? Are you ashamed to be British? Also, what happened to St. George's Day? You always mention St. Patrick's and St. David's Day. They even have cards out in the shops. What happened to good old England? And quite right, too, stamp my foot. And from Fiona Wilson, aged 14, from Hamilton, Lanarkshire in Scotland. I'm writing to criticise the BBC for not giving us children's BBC in the morning during our school holidays here in Scotland. As you probably know already, Scottish schools break up for their summer holidays about a month before the English schools do. During this time, the BBC doesn't put on any special programmes like Why Don't You or Jackanory. Of course, when the English school holidays start, there are many good programmes on in the morning. Why do we Scots have to wait for the English holidays before we get any morning programmes? Many Scottish children would appreciate it if the BBC gave us some good programmes during our holidays. Now, I spoke to Jim Hunter, who's the head of television for Scotland. I phoned him in his office in Glasgow on your behalf, and his reply was, Fiona has a fair point. However, to put children's programmes on over the Scottish school holidays would mean taking adult programmes like Open Air off. It's difficult to know who to disappoint. If we took Open Air off, the adults would get furious. When the English school holidays start, the daytime schedules change. We used to have CTV1 here, which was a series of children's programmes linked together by a good presenter. Maybe I ought to look at that formula again. I asked Mr. Hunter if he would be prepared to put those programmes on slightly earlier to avoid Open Air and the like, and he replied, I'll re-examine the schedule. I'm not actually sure if the problem is about to be solved, Fiona, but maybe you ought to press for the return of CTV1. And finally, from Eleanor Smith, age 10, from Leytonstone in London. I would like to congratulate the BBC on the excellent programme Corners. Corners is better than the average children's question-answer programme by far, for 3 reasons. 1, it's much more humorous. 2, the presenters are very good. And 3, there is a wide range of questions, from how does the telephone work to why do we say Bob's your uncle?
Hey, he's talking about your uncle.
He is.
Uncle Bob.
I've got Uncle Bobby now.
Uncle Bob.
Have you really?
Yeah, nice Uncle Bob.
Guys, but Paul, Barry, Chuckle, lovely to have you on the programme.
Great.
If you could wander over there, we'll be chatting about the programme in just a second.
And Uncle Bob.
Well, he may be there.
Let's go and see.
Let's go and see. Uncle Bob.
Oh, we're having a chat with them in just a couple of minutes after our Take Two critics have told us what they think of your magic.
I like the magic tricks sometimes. Sometimes they're good and sometimes they're just bad. It makes magic a bit obvious. You can see what's happening, kind of thing.
You know what's he's doing.
Yeah.
I like that one. I keep on wondering how he does it.
Yeah, I like the magic tricks.
A lot of magicians and things like that, their voices, they're quick, you know, when they talk, but his is so drowning, it really, it's boring. I don't like that bit at all.
He's quite good, but sometimes you can tell how he does the tricks. Sometimes you can work out how he could have done it, or sometimes you can't. It's a complete mystery sometimes.
I did used to have an uncle who was an optician, good old Uncle Albert. But he was a bit of a cheat, and if you promise not to tell anyone, I'll show you how he conned people into buying glasses. He used to have a sheet of newspaper, which he'd unwrap and show inside to have a red block of wood. He'd ask the person to remember the colour of the wood, fold up the paper, and then say, "What's that over there?" When they look round, he'd rather sneakily turn the paper over. He'd then ask them what colour they'd seen, and when they said red, he'd open up the paper and say, "No, it wasn't. It was blue." Didn't tell them about the other bit of wood on the other side. However, I asked him one day, "Uncle, what would happen if somebody turned round too soon and caught you turning over the piece of paper and realised that, in fact, you had 2 blocks of wood?" He said, "Well, then, my boy, what I'd do, I'd wrap up the paper, snap my fingers over the top, make the other piece of wood vanish, and still sell them the glasses."
OK, so Simon Lovell with the magic. Chaps, nice to have you on the programme.
Thanks for it. Nice to be here. Lovely.
Who are these 2 here?
Oh, this is the lads, the
Chuckle
Hounds.
The Chuckle Hounds,
Yes.
of course.
Big and little.
Your programme's changed a little bit because you started off in the ChuckleVision type suits, didn't you? In the lads'
That's right.
suits.
Our first break with the BBC, with the television, was the lads, the Chuckle Hounds.
Right.
And we did the 13 weeks here. It was it's a lovely series, isn't it? The lovely the lads.
Great pals.
And then, yes, and then it evolved on to us getting the chance to do as ourselves, as we always have been ourselves.
Right.
You know.
You had a bit of a bad experience coming here today, didn't you?
He certainly did.
I did, can I say that?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I parked the car, I was walking to the studio underneath the railway bridge, and a seagull, it must have been a very large seagull,
Yes.
did something right on top of my head. It's like gel, if you can see it now. Look. And it went right down my shirt and down the trousers and everything. There's about 1.5 tons of it.
Good job.
It's a
Good job pigs can't fly, isn't
It's
it?
the
It is.
BBC's hired pterodactyl.
That's what it is, is
On
it?
top
Oh,
of the
yeah.
bridge. Now, we're here to talk about ChuckleVision, your new show, the one that's running at the moment. The magic in the show, obviously quite popular. Whose
It is.
idea was that?
It was Martin Hughes, the producer of the show, the producer director. He thought it'd be nice to have a little bit of light-hearted magic in the middle of it. And it's going great, the kids love it.
Yeah, it works well.
And we do a touring show of ChuckleVision, and he's on the show as well. You know, he also, it works live, obviously.
Okay.
And he does all the stuff as well.
Yeah.
Excellent.
All right, well, let's move on a little bit further now. And what do you think of the armchair theatre?
I think it'd be better without the armchair theatre, really, because it's pretty boring. And, you know, you feel as though you want to see it on a separate programme and see the ChuckleVision on its own, because it's pretty good.
I like the stories, the armchair theatre thing, but I don't like what the Chuckle Brothers do, because they just smuck around and they're silly.
I don't like that they put those voice tracks on. So, I think the dog go out of the room when he's on. It gets a bit boring sometimes, but when the action comes in, it's better.
It ought to be just like Jack and Ori was, just sitting there and telling the story, because it sounds a lot better and it looks better.
Sarah Jane turned to see a pint-sized Alfie gazing at her with a calm eye. You got to admit it, for a wet, Alfie could be pretty dry. Sarah Jane rambled over to him and said, "Oi, you." "Yes," squeaked Alfie. "What do you want?" "What do I want?" said Sarah Jane. "A little respect for a start, you undernourished-looking peanut." "Respect," said Alfie, "has to be earned, and put me down or you'll start me asthma off." "Listen, Four Eyes, button your lip, or you'll be today's 4 o'clock punch bag."
The armchair theatre. Some like, some don't like.
We find that, don't you? You find, you know, he is actually, the actual stories with him doing the funny clothes and things. It does keep the speed up, because we like to think ChuckleVision is quite quick.
Quite fast, yeah.
You know, we keep it moving as quickly as we can. Some people do tend to say that it seems to slow it down a little bit.
Yeah,
But I mean, I think it goes, you know, it goes at the same sort of speed.
Yeah.
And
What sort of programme were you looking for in ChuckleVision? What did you say you wanted to be quite pacey, quite fast? What idea did you go in there with?
just to make people laugh as much as possible.
That's right, yeah. With
No,
different ideas, you know, a different theme each week, which we've got. And just to keep the theme going and put as many gags and things in as possible, you know, to try and suit sort of different age groups, really.
OK, we'll talk about the age groups again in a couple of seconds, after we've had a look at what you think of ChuckleVision in general.
Well, I like the Chuckle Brothers. I think they're really funny, just like acting stupid, and it makes it funny.
Well, it's okay, but the two men are being daft, running around. I think it would be better if somebody a bit younger than them was doing it, because they're grown-ups running around. They're acting even stupider than we are some of the times. The men are too old for it. They don't suit spiked hair.
I like it because of one's always being serious and everyone keeps making a mess of everything.
I think they're quite good sometimes, and they're funny. They can be quite silly.
I like the one when they were dancing. I like their clothes when they were dancing.
I like the one where they was both doing ballet dancing and the silly one done it all wrong, and he kept nudging him and he said that he was doing it wrong.
They're stepped more sensible.
I didn't like it for myself very much, but I think for the young children, I thought it was very good because I thought it was quite funny in places. So.
I think it's all right. I liked it when they were doing the keep fit thing, and one of them was riding the bike down, and it was making the other one always run down. And then when he had the weights, his was always lighter, and his was really heavy, and he couldn't lift it. I thought that was funny.
Now, look, here, you put these gloves on, and I'll put these gloves on here.
What are these for?
Oh, these are lifting gloves.
Oh, are they?
Especially for lifting, yeah. It makes you get a grip, you see, and you don't drop the bar.
Oh.
Right, now, you just watch this. What I do, I get hold of the bar like that, and lift it up like that, and then push it over my head, back down like that, and onto the floor like that. Easy, isn't it?
I can't do that.
Why not?
Mine's much too heavy.
No, not if you use your legs.
I'll never get it above my head with my legs.
No, not like that. Use your legs like this. You bend your legs and push with your legs like that.
Oh, I see.
Yes, now have a go.
I'll have a go,
Have
right.
a go. Well, it's over to our medical correspondent, Simon Lovell.
The theme tune clings to you when you heard it once. It just clings to you. It's really good.
You can pick up the tune, and it gets into your head, and you can't stop singing it then.
ChuckleVision, 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 ChuckleVision.
Now, the interesting thing there was that a lot of our critics and correspondents said that it was for younger viewers, but the older ones seem to know all the sketches anyway, so they've obviously seen it. What sort of an age group were you looking at?
We were just aiming at every age group. We were just
Yeah.
being silly, as they say, you know.
We are silly.
That's the idea. And we actually get letters. We've got one great fan who's about 18, 19 years old,
Yeah.
goes to public school. He's the
yeah.
captain of the rugby team. And they sing ChuckleVision on the coach on the way to games, evidently.
That's they've adopted that as their rugby theme tune, you know. They've not lost a match since it started. it.
Do you think it's going to end up being that sort of cult-type humour?
Well, that's hopefully, it would be nice.
Yeah.
We didn't aim it at that at first, did we? But it seems to be going that way, sort of thing. You know.
And the hair was mentioned in there. That was quite interesting, the hair. You've got the story regarding that, haven't
We
you?
have, yes. A lady came up to us last week when we were working, came for an autograph for the children, and they got the chuckle cut. This is the chuckle cut, by the way. It's not a crew cut. It's a chuckle cut. And evidently, the barber said he was getting fed up with all the kids having to do with hair like this. They come in and ask for the chuckle cut. He knows what it is because he does it so often, evidently.
That's right.
So you're starting off a new craze in hair as well?
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
And the always happy. They say once that it's so up and it's happy, but I mean, that's presumably is the nature of the programme.
Yes. I mean, there's enough sadness around, and everybody should be happy.
And when it normally goes out, like on Saturday mornings, like it does before going live,
Yeah.
it's to start the day off brightly. you
Yes.
know.
And the fact that one of our correspondents said that you act the fools quite a lot, and sometimes you're actually sillier than the youngsters who'd be watching the programme.
That's right. Well, that's the idea, isn't it? Really. I mean,
We've worked pantomime for many years now, every year, and we love doing pantomime. We always have worked, trying to be one of them, one of the crowd that you're working
sort
to.
of part of them.
If
you
you're
know,
working
instead
to
of working
older
down to
people,
them.
then you have to work like an older person. If you're working to like children, then you want to be one of the children, and we've
That's
always professed that. And we try to be that. So if we come over as that, that's what we're doing right. We're doing what we want.
Fair enough. Is there anything that you'd like to do in the programme that so far you've not been able to get round to, or there's not been time?
Yeah, we'd like to, possibly, well, there's a chance that we might do in the future, have an audience, a live audience, and actually work with the kids and get them involved
And possibly have
with
a
it.
guest or two on occasionally. You know.
And are you going to bring back the Chuckle Hounds?
Yes,
be coming back,
the lads will be coming back.
Yes.
Come back. Yes, they'll be here.
Terrific. Paul, Barry, thank you very much indeed for coming in, and the best of luck with the series, and we'll see you back on Saturday mornings, I hope.
Lovely.
When we're back in September, we're going live.
That's right.
All right.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Philip.
Now then, on to your written criticism. And this week, the letter comes from Shaban Kudmir from Hanwell in London. I watch Network East quite often, as I'm an Indian myself. But there are sometimes things I don't like about it. For instance, I turn on the telly and see two women wearing tights and a dress who are supposed to be presenting an Indian programme based towards an Indian audience. They could at least try and dress the part. I watched the fashion show last week and I quite liked the designs, but then I saw people coming up wearing typical English clothes. If I really wanted to see the English fashion, I'd watch the clothes show. What I do like about it is the videos and the songs. I wish they would have more of that and cut the number of interviews down. I like the way they show lots of traditional things for the older generation as well as modern stuff for the younger generation. Network East covers many different topics in just 45 minutes, but I think it could be longer, and I hope the BBC will continue to show it for a long time in the future. Thank you very much indeed for that, Shabana. Your gift voucher is on its way to you. It's a terrific written criticism. And just time to tell you that next week will be the last Take Two. Did I hear a snigger there? That's in the present series, of course. And we've had such a big response from your letters and comments and things that there's a whole host of subjects to cover, including The Red Dwarf, there's On the Waterfront, Coppers & Co. and Deaf 2, plus the paintings and drawings as well as the written criticism. It's a packed one. So if you've anything you would like to say or write in, you better do it quickly because, as I say, it is the last one. The address is Take 2, BBC Television, London W12 8QT. That's Take 2, BBC Television, London W12 8QT. And don't forget to join me for the final packed programme next week. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.